talk about the Nationality and Borders Bill, which has recently progressed through Parliament, and get a take on it from one of the organisations who've been talking about this. Hi there, introduce yourself, please.
Hello there, Devon. My name's Maurice Mcleod. I am the Chief Exec of Race on the Agenda. We're an anti-racism campaign group.
And what's the Rota take on the new bill that's been announced and its implications for black and minority individuals in the UK?
Yeah, it's really chilling. And you know, we're certainly not the only voice opposing this. Pretty much any organisation that works with or for minority communities is looking at this bill with horror, really, and the issues with it. The thing that's got the headlines are that up to 6 million British citizens who lived here their whole lives, if someone has the possibility of getting another citizenship, so if their parents were born somewhere or they happen to be born in a different country, the Home Secretary now has the right to remove your citizenship and without even telling you. Now that's really scary, and it makes a two-tier system in this country where, depending on your ethnicity and your heritage, the law treats you in different ways. That just goes against every concept of common law.
Would this policy differ greatly from any other countries around the world if they deem individuals' behaviour unacceptable for retaining citizenship?
Well, first off, I don't think that the way that we should look at rights shouldn't be, oh, well, who else is doing what and what can we get away with? It's what is the correct thing to do. I would go further than the arguments against this bill. I think the idea of stripping someone of their, your citizenship isn't a privilege, it's a right. So you can't strip someone's right away. Your rights should be inalienable. So if someone does a crime in this country, then they stand trial in this country, they serve their time like everybody else, and when their time is finished, their time is finished. But this bill and the ones before it mean that that there's a risk if you happen to have a different status, or if your parents were born somewhere else, that you could face being thrown out of the country for the same crime that your white counterpart doesn't. That can't be fair. It just can't be.
Looking through what the ministers have said, they say that currently they're asked to make efforts to advise an individual before their rights can be adversely affected. This bill would change that and allow executive discretion because of threats, crucially the fear of terrorism, and that the power would be exceptionally broad. Notice will not be needed if it would not be reasonably practical to give it, or in the interest of national security or diplomatic reasons or for other public interest reasons. So those are the ministers and Home Office take on it.
Yeah, and that all sounds, when you read like that sounds like, oh, well, fair enough. It says they have to reasonably try, and if there's a risk, then they don't do it. But the problem is it puts a lot of the decision-making lands with the Home Office. So we're kind of relying on Priti Patel to make decisions that we think are fair. And I just don't, we don't have that system of law in this country. Laws that allow you to say, oh, well, it wasn't really reasonable for me to tell that person before I removed their citizenship because, we were worried about who else they might tell, or we didn't want them to know that we were about to throw them out because they might have got some lawyers involved, and that would have been difficult for us. That's how the law works. You should have the right to. We're innocent until proven guilty. We should have the right to seek legal counsel and to oppose things that are happening to us. This is really dodgy territory, Devon. And the worrying thing is that if you add it with the other bills that are going through Parliament, so the policing crimes bill, there are ideas about introducing voter ID. All of these things stack up, and all of them play against certain parts of our community.
What rights would any individuals from the black community facing this situation have in the future if, for any reason, they're deemed not welcome in the UK anymore?
Oh, well, what we've seen is, if we learn anything from the Windrush scandal and the scandals that have gone on since, and Shamima Begum and things like that, not very many. If Britain decides that you're not welcome here anymore, and especially if it's because you've done a crime, you served your sentence, but you've done a crime, so you're a criminal. It's quite easy to make a case for getting rid of you, and it's quite hard for you to argue against it, especially if you don't happen to be rich and you haven't got a brilliant education, or you haven't got sort of legal backing, which a lot of people haven't. So to be honest, the only recourse people have is the campaign groups and making noise about it and getting themselves in the Guardian or whatever and trying to stir up public sympathy that way. That's, again, like I say, that's not the way that we should run a justice system.
In response to articles in the likes of the New Statesman, the Home Office has said that the premise of articles suggesting that this policy and bill could adversely affect black communities is fundamentally misleading. Quote.
Yeah, I saw that, but I was trying to find which bit they thought was misleading. Yes, it is a headline. 6 million up to 6 million black and Asian people could lose their citizenship. That is an alarming headline. And let's be honest, that's not going to happen. It's very unlikely that they're going to say, right, everyone that is eligible, we're going to remove your citizenship. But like I say, you're in a different legal situation. If you and your white friend commit a crime, you are in a different situation. That can't be right. So I understand the Home Office wanting to, play down fears and not alarm people, but we've sadly, through Windrush and whatever, this is like Windrush happening before our eyes. This is why something like Windrush ends up happening, because laws like this come in, and then 20, 30 years down the line, we're apologising to a group of people that we've thrown out of the country that we should have done. This is happening right now. That's why we're making noise.
It's Clause 9 of the bill that we're referring to in particular, and the Home Office insists that those deprived of citizenship still possess the right to appeal. A final response to that, please, Maurice?
Yeah, of course they can appeal, and people do appeal, but it's making the assumption that everyone has access to legal funds, everyone understands what's happened to them. Even, what Windrush showed was that a lot of these people were out of the country before they even knew what happened, before they even had time to phone a lawyer or understand what was going on with them. So I think that's a bit of a disingenuous response, to be honest.
Maurice Mcleod from Rota, Race on the Agenda, thank you for taking time to talk to us about the impact of the Nationality and Borders Bill on black and other ethnic minority communities in the UK. Thank you very much.
Thank you.